Hello everybody and welcome to the Heater Tips channel. Today we're going to have a very short talk on the best methods to heat a large room. Heating a large room is always pretty difficult because it's large, it's spacey, and you need to get a lot of heat, and you need to distribute the heat evenly. So that's always quite expensive. It's always quite expensive to heat large spaces. So in this video, we're going to talk about just that. And here's the quick answer. The best method to heat a large room is using a wood stove. A wood stove always produces a ton of heat that's always enough for large rooms of any size. The best thing about wood stoves is that you can directly control the amount of heat they produce. They always have an air intake valve which you can set so they output different amount of heats, and you can also change the amount of wood that you put in. So wood stoves are absolutely great for large rooms. They are very scalable and they also heat up the room for long times, even if the fire is extinguished. The other method that I'm going to present to you is infrared heaters. The best thing about infrared heaters is that they radiate the heat in one direction, and you can point them anywhere into the large space that you have, and they will heat just that space. That's, in my opinion, the best thing about infrared heaters. You have a very good control over where the heat goes, and the perceived efficiency of the infrared heater is very good because the heat goes where it should go, and this makes you feel a lot warmer in a room even if it's not heated up yet. Okay, these are the two methods. Personally, I prefer the wood stove, obviously, because it's a very reliable method. You don't depend on your local electricity grid. You don't depend on oil or gas supply, and you don't depend on external prices. Of course, wood is also getting more and more expensive. However, you have very good control over the cost. The reason is that with wood, the more work you put in yourself, the cheaper it gets. And here's a table that I've compiled for you with different amounts of work that you put into preparing firewood and how much it costs you a year. And as you can see, wood is very expensive when you do absolutely nothing. When you just get the wood pre-dried, pre-chopped, pre-cut, and pre-stacked and all delivered to your house, then you can expect costs up to $3,000 every year. Especially with large rooms. We're always considering large rooms in this video, and that's very expensive. However, if you start chopping the wood yourself, if you start drying the wood yourself, if you start stacking it yourself, you always save a significant amount of money. And if you do a significant amount of work, and if you put in the effort, then heating with wood gets very affordable. For example, my family has been preparing wood this year for the next few years, and we have spent for 1 year of heating maybe $300. We cut the wood ourselves, we chopped it ourselves, we stacked it ourselves, we let it dry ourselves for 2 to 3 years, and then we heat using it. So the only thing that we really paid for is the wood as a resource itself, and the transport cost of the tree trunks that were delivered to our house. And you can do the same yourself. You can order a few trunks of trees from your local forest and it gets delivered to your home. Then you get a chainsaw and cut it. Then you get an axe and chop it. And then you stack it and wait for a few years, usually 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, depending on the weather in your area, and let it dry, and then you have a very cheap resource for heating. The best thing is that it's very, very, very resistant to politics, to crises, and even if there's war, you can always run to the forest and get your wood. If you don't pay anything, then yeah, that's how life is. So heating with wood is very, very reliable. And that's what I would recommend to you for large spaces. If you don't have access to wood, if you're living in a city, if you can't put in the work yourself, if you are already too old, if you don't have that much energy, if you have no one to help you, then heating with wood might be a bit expensive, but you can still check the prices in your local area. Maybe there are some people doing it for you. Maybe it's still affordable. So I would recommend you checking it out. Installing a wood stove is also relatively affordable. It's maybe $1,000, depending on how much you already have at your home. If you need a new chimney, if you need a chimney insert or whatever, then it gets more expensive, of course. But usually you already have a chimney and you just need to install a wood stove, connect to it, connect to the chimney, and then you're set to go. So that's my number one recommendation for heating large spaces, wood. If you don't want to heat using wood, if you only want to heat using electricity or gas, then I recommend to you just turning up your central heating. It's the most reliable thing. Central heating is usually based on the resource that is most available in your area, whether it's gas or oil or whatever. And if you think that the central heating in your home is too slow to heat up your large space, then I would recommend to you getting an infrared heater, which can help you speed up heating your room. The best thing is that these things heat up instantly. As soon as you turn them on, you will almost immediately feel the heat. I can feel the heat coming out of this heater like 5 seconds after it's turned on. So that's why I recommend getting an infrared heater. If you want one, then I have linked one in the description down below for you to get. It's not this exact model because this is unfortunately not available anymore. But it doesn't make a difference. All infrared heaters are the same. If someone tells you something else, then he's probably lying. He's probably marketing something to you. All infrared heaters are the same. It just depends, or the heat output just depends on the power they consume. And everything else is just design and marketing. Okay. As we've seen, wood is very affordable. Infrared heaters use electricity. That's a bit more expensive. You can expect a monthly cost of $54. That depends on the local electricity rate in your area. I've assumed a electricity rate of 14 cents per kilowatt hour, which is the current US average. Actually, that's the official number, but I would expect it to be a little bit higher. So maybe it's $60 or $70 a month if you use it for 8 hours every day. But mostly you don't need to use it for 8 hours every day because you only need to use it for supply heat. Well, okay. And I think that's already enough on heating large spaces. If you want to check out more methods on heating large rooms, I have written about more things. I have written about radiant floor heating. If your house is still in construction, I've written about the cost of operating multiple space heaters and how to place space heaters inside a large room to get the most comfortable sort of heat. And I've checked how to distribute the heat in your room. Then check out the full article on heating large rooms in the description down below. And if you found this video helpful, then please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I always try to put out original research that you can't find anywhere else. And I hope I was able to help you. Hopefully you will at some point install a wood stove. I think everybody should have one if possible, because that's just the most independent form of heat. And it's very affordable. You can put in your own you can put in your own work, and you can save some bucks there. And also, I think the heat from a wood stove is very comfortable. Okay, that's it. Leave a like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.